Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. Really glad you could join me this morning out here in the vegetable garden. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. The sun is shining and it's a nice low humidity day. Well, today is June 19th and it's harvest time for my broccoli plants. So thanks for joining me today. One, two, three, cut. One thing I always encourage people to do is, and that is to keep a garden journal. You know, a record from year to year, season by season, of when you plant your vegetables, maybe what problems you've had out in your garden, you know, and vegetables that have grown real well. And so, you know, it's really handy to be able to look back and see when you planted things and what problems you may have had. You know, it's well worth the time and effort up front. Well, anyhow, here in my garden journal, I planted my broccoli transplants or seedlings. I got them from Ray's Nursery nearby, and they end up being about 30 cents a plant. And but I planted these broccoli transplants April 19th, and so I also did a video June 1st, and that was 19 days ago. Let's go take a peek under the row cover. And at that time, those broccoli heads were pretty small. And so, you know, about 19 days have passed since then, and those broccoli heads are nice and mature. They're ready to pick. And so, follow me along and let's go take a look at those broccoli plants, and I'm going to harvest some of those heads out there in the garden. So these broccoli plants are right here under the row cover here. What as I did, I ended up buying 3 market packs of 6, and I have 18 broccoli plants under this row cover, which seemed to be plenty for my wife and I. And don't forget too, you can also eat the leaves of these broccoli plants. They're very healthy. They're similar to collard greens. And you can also eat the stalks, so nothing goes to waste on these cauliflower plants. And so as you can see, these heads have developed really nice, and you know, they just thrive under these row covers. As you can see, there's no holes in these leaves, and at least most of the leaves. You may find one here or there, but you know, they have just grown really well under these row covers. And so what I'm going to do is take out one of these plants. Now, I measured from tip to tip on these leaves, and they measured anywhere from 32 inches across to 36 inches. And so, you know, it just gives you an idea when you grow your broccoli plants that you want to provide plenty of room for them. And, you know, this is what a good, healthy plant should look like. And here I use my composted leaf mulch amended with topsoil, and then I also add some alfalfa pellets in the beginning. It's a nice long season slow release fertilizer. So I'm going to grab my saw and let's remove one of these plants. So I have my Sierra saw. It's a nice little handy saw, and it's got a nice edge on it. I actually used to use this when I was camping, and so it really makes nice easy work of cutting the stalks on these broccoli, and it has a nice long reach to it. And so I'm just going to simply take the whole plant out, and let's just take a closer look at it. But anyhow, you can see how nice and healthy looking these plants are. And again, these leaves, you know, they're nice and edible. You can either cook them down and steam them, have them with rice or potatoes, or you can use these in a smoothie. And you know, just taking a look underneath it, you can just see how nice and healthy these are. Again, they were all protected by the garden pests, the aphids and the looper worm. So, you know, the plant was able to remain nice and healthy. And so, yeah, you could take each one of these leaves off, and then, you know, you could also eat these. So I'm going to put this on the table here, and then let's take a look at the broccoli head itself. So I put this broccoli plant up on my outdoor work table. This is a piece of 3/4 inch corian that I had left over from one of my kitchen remodeling jobs I did years ago, but it's about 28 inches by 28 inches. I have my hose attached to the side, and it's a nice handy table. And also keep in mind, when you harvest your broccoli heads, you don't want to cut it at the base of the root like I did here. I'm just doing that. I just did that for demonstration purposes. You really want to just cut your broccoli right below the head, because it's going to send out side shoots that you continue to eat those throughout the season. In fact, that's one of my favorite things to do, is when I'm out working in the garden, is to eat those side shoots from the broccoli plant. But anyhow, let's just take off some of these leaves here so we can get a closer inspection of this broccoli head here. Again, and I'm just amazed, you know, think about this. All this is just from one tiny little seed. And again, and these leaves are all edible. You know, certainly you can just put them back in your compost pile. Now, some of these broccoli heads I have under the row cover actually started to go to seed, so I could have even picked some of these a little sooner. And so, but nevertheless, none of it's going to go to waste. In fact, these little leaves here on this broccoli head, they're nice, and these are nice tender leaves. You know, I'll eat these after I'm done filming here. But you can see how nice and thick this broccoli stalk is. And this is basically what a good healthy head of broccoli should look like, and how thick the stalk should look like. And you know, we also, you know, this is a pretty thick stalk, and if you cut them up real thin, you could also steam those too. So again, even the stalk is edible. And so you can just take I'm just going to take my saw here and then just cut this right below the head, and then you'll have a nice healthy looking head of broccoli. Again, we just love our broccoli here, you know, especially since my wife and I are plant-based. You know, I've been plant-based now for over 3 years, meaning I get all my vitamins and nutrients through plants and not animals anymore. And of course, in doing so, I've just experienced amazing results in my health, you know, with my blood pressure plummeting and my cholesterol plummeting, and of course I lost 65 pounds and have restored my energy. And so, but anyhow, we just love our broccoli and our greens here in our garden. So anyhow, this is you know, it's harvest time out here in the garden, and I just want to thank you for joining me today out here in the vegetable garden. So anyhow, let me encourage you to think about growing broccoli in your garden, you know, and especially encouraging you to grow it under row covers. You know, you spend a little bit of time and money up front putting these broccoli plants under these low tunnel greenhouses, and they just thrive under there, being protected from those garden pests. And like I said, these broccoli plants I did buy market packs of 6. And so so anyhow, I just want to thank you for joining me today out here in the vegetable garden, and I hope you have a wonderful day. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.